I lost about $150,000 trading Forex this week, and I'm going to break down every single trade. So a lot of these I shared in my free Telegram channel. I'll put a link in the description and the pinned comment. It's just where I share all my analysis, all my trades and everything. Been running this channel for 8 years. And currently as it sits, I only have one trade open, and that's sitting around break even right now. I've risked $100,000 on this trade. It's a GBP CAD trade, and it's currently sitting at break even. So let's talk about the two trades that I lost this week. So GBP AUD was the first one. So originally what I had done is I had bought right here around these lows. So price had come down into those lows, and then I bought right here. And all this was shared live inside the Nix Trades Discord server here in Discord. So again, all of it was shared live throughout here in real time, time-stamped, everything. So what had happened is I bought right there at the support zone basically, and then what happened is price just broke below it. So as price broke below it, and started coming down here to the next zone that I had drawn. Here, if we go to the weekly and higher time frames, you can see that right here where price was bouncing as resistance, support, 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 it came down here into that region, right? So I didn't want to completely get out of my longs, but what I did is I basically restructured the original trade. So I closed that first trade at a partial loss. It was about halfway to the stop loss. And then, so I got out of that at halfway to the loss, and then I re-entered a buy down here, but with the stop loss much lower below this zone, and the risk restructured to where I was risking $100,000 on this one. So the first trade's risk was like $75,000. This next one was about $100,000 risk. As it started breaking the zone yesterday, I ended up closing. So what has happened since I closed? I closed right about here, and let's go ahead and look at the exact closure. So let's see exactly where I closed it at. Entered a buy on GBP AUD. All right. Closing GBP AUD here and $40,000 of loss, a little over 50% of the way to the stop loss. Well, here, okay, this is the new one I'm talking about. So this, finally, this is where I've closed it. Where the hell is this? Here we go. Oh my God. See, so you'll see I share everything live in here, so it's all timestamped and everything. This is where I believe I closed it. Yeah, I'm closing all GBP AUD entries here in small loss relative to where the stop losses are. So finally, here we go. So the first entry was up here along these lows. As it broke, I exited, and then I re-entered down here with a wider stop. So that way it's below the weekly zone, and I take profit of 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio. And this one just didn't work. It ended up going against me, so I cut that at a small loss right there. And I'm glad I did. This would have gone quite a bit further. I don't know if it would have hit the stop loss, but it would have gone quite a bit further. And then we've come all the way back up here. Now we're coming back to retest this zone in here. So I'm actually looking to re-enter long if we can get back into this zone and then start to bounce. We've already broken above and then bounced once right there on that 1 hourly candle wick and come up. So perhaps this zone will still hold, and we will see exactly what happens. I'm going to wait to see how the candle closes today. It's Friday today, and I posted this in Telegram too. I said GBP AUD was closed in a smaller loss before the stop loss, and it looks like she might still work, and I might re-enter. This was that screenshot I sent this morning in the free Telegram channel. So I might re-enter if she ends up setting up, but that was GBP AUD. Those were my two partial losses, and that resulted in loss this week. So the next one right here is USD Canadian dollar. So this one I entered originally right here. Let's go line by line here in the Discord because everything is right here live. All right, GBP AUD, let's see, USD Canadian dollar. Okay. Buy on GBP AUD. All right, here's USD CAD. So the beginning of this week, 5/12/26. It's the first trade of this week. USD CAD. Now here's the analysis. There's the original zone right there on the daily. Again, the daily now looks like this, right? But the original zone I was trading off of was this right here. So price got into that zone, and I entered a sell. So whenever that was right there, you can see my sell entry. Entries are always the same. I enter a sell at a resistance or a buy at support, and I put a stop loss past the zone, and then I take profit of just 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio. If it goes into profit, I try to hold it, even add to it, and if it goes against me, I just try to cut it a little bit smaller of a loss. This is the system I've been using for years, to varying degrees of risk structure, but it's the same basic approach. Buy at support, sell at resistance. Just keeping things real simple, controlling risk, trying to make a little bit more money than I lose long term. So that's all. That's the basic thing I've been doing forever. So this is what it looked like when we first got into the trade. You can see my account balance was at $770,000 at the beginning of this week. Ugh. Losing streaks, right? USD Canadian dollar, and these are the entries. And then, so that was entered right there. And then what ended up playing out was price went up against my position. So there was a time where I added here to USD Canadian dollar, and it was right here. I said I added a sell to USD Canadian dollar. So let's look at what happened. So the original basket of entries are down here. Now this is the 1 hour time frame. Now you know that right here, this is the daily, weekly resistance zone that I just showed you on the trading view image, right? So this zone right here. But as it started to go up against me, I found a better spot to enter. And since I had only risked, I think it was $75,000 originally on this, I can allocate up to about $100,000 of risk per trade. So I added another position up here, and then I put a stop just above the highs, just because it was really deep into the zone. And you can see right here with the same rough lot sizes I was using as the previous set of entries, this was only a $5,000 risk. And then if it went all the way to the final profit target where all the other entries have their profit targets as well, right? 1-to-1 risk reward ratio on the bigger like weekly, daily time frames. This would have made like $35,000, but the only real risk here was if it just tapped up a little bit further, I would just get stopped out at a small loss, but while retaining my original bigger positions. So that was perfectly fine right there. That didn't work out. It popped up above, hit the stop loss. So I was like, all right, cool. Then it started to reject. And as it started to reject and go down, I was like, all right, this looks like the area where it's going to reverse. So I just simply re-entered. Same position, 70. This is my additional entry. You can see the 71 lot trades are the original 2 entries, and those right there represent $75,000 of risk. And this entry right here adds like about, $7,000 of risk. So what ended up happening is it did in fact start to come down again, and I entered further because it was deeper into the resistance zone and started to reject. And I'm like, all right, it's either going to bounce here or it's not. So I just entered another sell. This is what it looked like at that moment. The account went from 770K after the GBP AUD, or no, after the open profit got liquidated and sent back, $709,000. So GBP AUD entries, these started to go against me, and then that's where I closed them, right? Because this is where I closed GBP AUD. And then if we go down here to USD CAD, I woke up this morning to this. They hit the stop losses. So this is what it looks like. So this is the trading week, right? GBP AUD, USD CAD partial loss, GBP AUD, the second round of partial losses. The total risk on GBP AUD was not to exceed 100,000, but even among both entries, each of them risking like no more than 100K. The first entries I only lost 40K, and the second set of entries I only lost 35K. So the risk was controlled pretty well, because like all I need is like one simple winner, and then that makes back all those losses on both of those GBP AUD entries with some profit too. USD Canadian dollar. This one actually went all the way to the stop loss. I thought USD CAD was going to work out. It looked like an amazing trade to me. And, if we can get a closure down here, I doubt it's going to happen today, but if we can get a closure, honestly, I would still like to re-enter USD Canadian dollar. I think she's at a great spot for sales still. Call me delusional, but I've been trading over and over and over again. I know what it's like to go through the win streaks and the losing streaks and go back and forth. I don't ever get weird about anything. I don't fucking start like making weird decisions and doing stupid shit. Maybe like 5% of the time I might do something kind of stupid, but like 95% of the time, like it doesn't matter. So some people might say, you're going to be revenge trading. You're chasing a trade or this and that. I'm looking at it like, look, price is going to go up or down. We're right sometimes when we're wrong sometimes. We just got to make a little bit more when we're right versus what we lose when we're wrong. That's how, like, over the course of the past 2 weeks, or let's say 2.5 weeks before this, I went on it was like a $490,000 win streak. I basically made $500,000 in a 2-week time period. Before that, though, I had a losing streak. I lost $250K. It was like $240,000. And then right after that, I had a win streak of like almost $500,000. So my account balance got up to $770K. And now this week I've hit a losing streak of like $150K or whatever it is right now. And I'm going to make it all back and more. It's just a matter of time. The account that I'm on right now, I believe I posted it in here in Telegram. Did I post it in Telegram? I think I posted it in Discord. Let's see where we're at. Yep, it was right here in Discord. So here in Discord, I posted the pulled P&L to date after all the losses. I've had a $350,000 deposit back in October of 2025. And right now we are currently in Friday, May 15th of 2026. So from October to May, with a $350,000 deposit, I have made $400,000 in profit. Subtract the $150,000 in swaps and commissions. Yeah, I know, a lot of swaps and commissions. If you have a broker you trust, you're going to be paying for it one way or the other way. So you're going to have to be paying swaps and fees and stuff like that. So that leaves me with about $250,000 of profit, or the account's grown from $350K to $600K. Now remember, this account was just at $770,000. I had more than doubled this account. And that was over the course of whatever October is until May. So that's like 7 months? I hope that's 7 months, right? No, that's like, okay, let's do the math. October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. Okay, yeah, I was right. It was 7 months. So 7 months, I've grown the account $150,000. That's amazing to me. And I had doubled it, like more than doubled it, right? I went from 350K to 770K. So I had more than doubled it over the course of that time period, which was like 6.5 months. And by the end of this year, if I can just get to the point where the account has been doubled or potentially even tripled, because I'm trying to get the account to $1 million, I think it's going to happen. We're here about midway through May 2026. I think by December, I could probably triple the account. Honestly, I think it'll happen before then. But even with all the win streaks and losing streaks and ups and downs, like I still remain profitable, like through all the ups and downs. Like nobody can argue with that. And I've done this over and over for years, posted my analysis and trades and results and recaps and outlooks and P&L and everything in Telegram, the free Telegram channel I just showed you for the past 8 years. It's just been the same old stuff over and over and over again. So I'm used to it. I'm used to the ebbs and flows and the ups and downs. And I don't ever make like, I don't ever get weird about shit whenever things are not going good. Because right before all this, there was tons of blues. Let me actually show you where all that was so you can see it. Here it is. So this was just after the first losses on GBP AUD. You can see the $350,000 deposit there, but the profit was $530,000. So, and then right before this loss right here on GBP AUD, that's 40K, right? The profit would have been $570,000. So that is absolutely phenomenal for an account like this, just to be able to grow it like that. And again, every single trade is called live. They're all timestamped in here. I have days like this where I win, like on a trade, you can see this hit the profit target because we got highlighted in green here, Euro JPY last week. $113,000 just on that one trade. And this account, like again, it was at 770K at the peak watermark high. And, and it's just the same stuff over and over again. I don't do anything different. This was a Euro JPY trade I took last week that resulted in that $100,000 profit. You can see it basically looks identical to how USD CAD looked this week. Right. The only difference is this right here did not work out and I lost money on it. Whereas this one here, Euro JPY, literally basically the same type of trade, right? You're just selling at resistance. This one worked out. And I'll show you right here. You can see where it fell from the zone, hit the profit target. This is a daily chart and it pinned me out with $100,000 of profit. So all I'm saying here is some trades are going to lose, some trades are going to win, but you shouldn't get too worried about it if you're doing this, if you're doing something that you know works. Again, the reason I trade live is because that's the only way you can really prove that you can actually trade. Everything else can be manipulated and faked. That's why I don't even bother engaging in any types of those activities. I trade live and I document everything from start to finish with time-stamped everything. It's all in Discord, and also the recaps are in Telegram, so that way it all lines up. So that way for my paid clients in Discord, they can follow all my exact trades, get all the updates in real time, like copy and paste basically for like as a ratio of what I'm risking to what they want to risk. And that gives them a way of seeing everything happen in real time. In Telegram, right, I post the analysis. I post, hey, look, I'm looking to get long on this, but I don't share all the specifics in there. I reserve that for the paid clients in the Discord, right? Because I gotta have something for my paid clients. And then in Telegram, what I'll do is once the trade concludes, I'll do a recap on it in a Telegram post, as well as in YouTube videos, just like this you're watching right now, where I'm recapping my win streaks when I'm on crazy win streaks, and then recapping losing streaks when I'm on losing streaks. And I do it, and I've done this for years, over and over and over. It's the same basic stuff over and over again. So that was the trades for this week. Now, the last trade I'm in right now on GBP Canadian dollar is this right here. You can see it's the same type of trade, right? We don't have anything crazy on the chart. We've got some lines here with some black and white candlesticks on the chart, white candlesticks, black background, and some yellow lines. This is about as simple as it gets. You're not going to find anything much more simple than this. I bought at support right here at this weekly support zone. You can also go to the daily. I mean, the daily, weekly kind of function the same way. You go to the daily and zoom out a little bit, or you go to the weekly and you zoom in a little bit. You're basically looking at the same type of chart. So I just bought there at that support zone. I've got a stop loss below and a target above, and the trade looks like this right here. This is where I called it out. And you can see this is a daily chart on GBP CAD. And then down here is the entry. You can see at the support with a stop loss below and a target above. And this has a $100,000 risk. And look how simple it is when I call it out. Like, this is how I call it out in Discord. I put a screenshot of the trading view analysis right here, but normally I'll do that in Telegram, which I believe I did this morning. Yep. GBP CAD. I literally even said I am long. Only thing I didn't do is I didn't call the specifics in the risk structure. That's it. So yeah, but it's just the same thing. I just buy there at support. Okay, cool. And then I post a screenshot of my actual chart terminal, so that way you can see my exact entry, lot size, everything. And then I post a screenshot of my trading terminal, so the P&L terminal. That way you can see all the exact position sizes, the exact entries, and you can see the stop losses and take profits and everything right here. They're literally highlighted right there where you can see them. Stops levels and profit levels and entries. And then I say how much I'm risking. That way, if you want to, let's say I'm risking $100,000 and you want to risk, 1/10 of that, so 10K. Instead of using, this is 70 plus 70 is about 140 lots. Instead of that, you would just use 14 lots because that's 1/10 of that. And then 14 lots using my same relative entries and stops and targets means you're risking, 10% of that, which is 10K. And if you want to risk 1/100th, well, you just do, instead of 140 lots, you'd use 1.4 lots. Now you're risking $1,000 on it. So you can mirror your risk, but you don't even have to use a position size calculator. You just look at what I'm doing and then do some basic division by however much you want to risk. And then you can follow them with a risk structure that makes sense for you based on whatever your risk tolerance is. And this is GBP CAD right now. But again, I think it's like floating actually around the entries right here because it's here at the support zone. So yep, it's at the support zone. We're going to see what happens. It's either going to go up or it's going to go down. So that's the only thing I'm long on right now. I'm looking to get short on Euro GBP. This has been planned for the past 2 weeks. Actually, probably longer than this, but we've been waiting because we thought it was going to go down here to this support zone so we could buy at the bottom. It didn't go all the way into the support zone, so we missed this trade. I mean, we didn't really miss it. It just didn't set up. So it is what it is. I'm going to have to restart my Hogwarts Legacy gameplay ambience in the background here in a second. So right here, it bounced, but it didn't come all the way to the zone, so we didn't get an entry. There was no entry there. However, price could come up here either, probably not today, but if today, I'm probably going to wait till Sunday night or Monday morning anyway to enter when the market reopens. But at some point, it looks like we'll probably be pushing up here into this resistance zone. I will be looking to sell there. The sell is going to look something like this. It'll be a sell right there with a stop loss just above the zone. Not too close and not too far, right? But just to stop above the zone, then a take profit at 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. Then the idea will be to manage it. If it starts going into profit, hold it or try to add to it with controlled risk. Or if it goes against me, then I will just look to get out of the trade a little bit early if I can, and if it makes sense to do so in the moment. GBP AUD, nothing. USD Canadian dollar, nothing. AUD Canadian dollar was interesting because I actually think she's going to be bouncing here and continuing her uptrend. When you go out on AUD Canadian dollar, she's been in nothing but an uptrend since like last year. So like for the past year in April, like February, April, May of 2025, she's just been in a straight uptrend, just been running upwards. So, I mean, she's looking pretty good for buys right here. I am still waiting at this exact moment. Plus it's Friday and plus I'm already long on GBP CAD. And if GBP CAD goes up, AUD CAD's probably going to go up. But if one of these go down, the other one's likely going to go down. So buying both of them with full risk, 100K on each trade, it doesn't really make a lot of sense because you're basically it's called currency correlation. You're overexposing yourself to currency correlation such that with the CAD being in the quote pair on GBP CAD and AUD CAD, if one of them goes one way, the other one is likely to go that way as well. So if I'm buying both of them with full risk, it's basically like risking double the amount of money on the same trading opportunity. Because if both of them work, cool, I'll win them both. That'll be nice. But if both of them don't work, then I will lose double the amount I was risking because they're both basically the same trading opportunity. GBP CAD, AUD CAD. You buy one of them and you buy the other. Both of them are either probably going to go to the profit target or both of them are probably going to go to the stop. That's just the way currency correlation works, usually. So I'm going to probably just skip this for now. It looks decent, but GBP CAD, in my opinion, looks better. We've just got such a wider range here, and I'm not targeting that far, right? My targets are pretty close. My targets are something like that. It just has to have a little bit of a bounce here, and then I win. So we'll see what happens with GBP CAD going into next week. GBP USD I thought was going to bounce this week at this zone, but we didn't. I ended up ignoring this trade because the moment it got to this zone, it immediately started to break below it. So I did not take this trade. I was looking at it earlier this week, and I called it in Telegram saying like, hey, I'm looking at GBP USD. It looks like I might be ready soon. But we got here into this zone, and then nothing happened. We didn't have any type of rejection. That's why I don't use limit orders. That's why I don't use buy limits and sell limits and don't enter immediately. I wait for price action to kind of like bounce a little bit first before getting in. So we broke below this zone and I waited. I was like, if we push back up above the zone and close real quick, then I'll enter. That didn't happen. We had another bear candle and then just started trickling sideways and slumping down further this morning. So that was, it's an example of how you can avoid like trades. Yeah, I don't want to call bad trades because like there's no such thing as good or bad in trading. There's just what makes sense and what works, right? Based on a risk structure perspective. I didn't think it was a viable trading opportunity that was most optimal just because it went into the zone and it just continued like ripping past it. And I was like, okay, I'll probably just sit out of buys here for now and see what happens. And that can save you in trading. Your discretion as a manual trader is your only edge in trading. There's nothing else. You can't systemize anything. Technical analysis has no predictive power. It's all about you using your experience and then technical analysis just to control risk. You can't predict where price is going to go or speculate with technical analysis because you're just drawing like fucking lines on the chart at the end of the day. Like they have no predictive power. You drawing a rectangle or a line or a Fibonacci or a moving average, it's not going to predict where price is going to go. Like it's a coin flip basically. Like you can get more predictable results just flipping a coin because at least you know it's 50-50. With you trading, you'll have win streaks and losing streaks and everything. The only way you make money is just by controlling risk and making a little bit more when you happen to be right versus the amount of money you lose when you happen to be wrong. That's basically what it all boils down to. Because you're going to have wins, sure, and you're also going to have losers, sure. All you have to do is just make sure the wins outweigh the losers. And you can use technical analysis to structure the risk. That's why I use like price action and technical analysis together, not to try to predict, but just to try to say, where can I get in? Where's a reasonable stop loss? Where's the profit target? Where should that go? And then if it starts going into profit, I'll hold it. And if it starts going against me, I try to just get out around break even or a smaller loss. So that's that. So Euro JPY, right now I see nothing. I'm going to be like just waiting on that one. AUD USD, I see nothing. I with GBP USD as well, I thought this might bounce up here, but it didn't. We failed to make a new high right there. We tried to go higher, failed, came back to the zone, broke through it like GU, so there was no trade there. However, coming into next week, this could be pretty good. I'm going to set an alert here on AUD USD. So around these lows, and I'll drag the alert really close here. This could be pretty good. Come in here and maybe bounce at that little support zone. It's a great support zone. We have a tiny bit of leakage here and then a nice big spike through the zone there. So that was kind of shit. But we bounced here, 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 broke above, tested, bounced to support, support, support. If we come in here again, I could see us having a little bit of a bounce off that zone. So that would be a very easy trade, right? Whether it wins or loses, you just buy there, stop loss below, target above at 1-to-1. If it starts going against you and breaks the zone, closes below or goes sideways, you can get out around break even or a smaller loss. And if it starts going up, cool, you hold it. Maybe you'll make more of a profit. That's the idea. I'm going to drag this a little bit further up to the top right here. Let's see. Okay. And then I've got, Euro GBP and GBP CAD and AUD USD. So I'll keep this up here. Okay, cool. Sweet. All right, so we got that. So let's continue through the analysis. Very, very simple stuff. GBP JPY nothing, NZD JPY nothing, CAD JPY nothing, CHF JPY nothing. Nothing on EU, nothing on USD CHF, nothing on USD JPY, nothing on Euro AUD, nothing on Euro CAD, nothing on GBP NZD. NZD USD. I think there's better trading opportunities than this. This could be bouncing here support, but I think AUD USD looks a lot cleaner. So I'm going to be skipping NZD USD. And then we got AUD JPY. It looks like it's in an uptrend, but she's just, obviously she's in an uptrend, but there's no clear support zone. We'd have to be playing a lot of mental gymnastics here to try to call that a support zone when it just bounces back and forth over and over. If anything, I see this right here as a nice clean resistance zone that she bounced off of. So, all right, well, that's that. Everything else here, we have a Solana and Bitcoin, and the same shit happens in crypto too, right? Like on Solana, we came here into this resistance zone. My Solana was up quite a bit right there, but now we're down 10% from that resistance zone. We just bounced there, and it's down like, 9.5, how much? 9.5 to 10%. The same stuff happens over and over, regardless of the asset. Same thing on Bitcoin. You've got this major low right here. Bitcoin came up into it, found resistance, and now we're trying to tug away. I still think these are going to go up, but we're having a little bit of a pullback right now. It's just a matter of where's it going to bounce now? Will it bounce here? Will it bounce around these previous highs right here? We don't know. We'll have to see what happens. All right, so that's my analysis going into next week. I'm holding GBP CAD, looking to sell Euro GBP. AUD USD, I'm looking to buy. GBP AUD, I'm looking to buy, but, again, actually, maybe before I might be entering a buy on GBP AUD right after this video if we can get down here in the support zone because we're very close. Yeah, literally almost hit that area right there. I might buy that. Honestly, it looks good. I'm going to drag this up here. USD Canadian dollar, I still think she could bounce. However, I'm going to need to wait till this daily candle closes and kind of see what happens there. I'm going to adjust this little zone right here just to encapsulate the previous highs, and then we will see what happens. Honestly, this is looking like it's going to go up, so I'm not that excited about it. AUD Canadian dollar, I'm going to wait and see. We'll see what happens. GBP, USD, nothing. And then all the other ones are just nothing. Okay, cool. So that's it. That's the full recap of my trading week last week in the $150,000 or whatever it was that I lost this last week. It's also a touch base on the current trade that I'm in, as well as an outlook on the next trades that I'm going to take. If you found this video useful and you ended up hitting the like button, cool. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. Again, if you're not in the free Telegram channel, make sure you hit the link in the description or the pinned comment. You can join the free Telegram channel. It's literally fucking free. You can join in the next 5 to 10 seconds. You can follow my trades there. You can follow my analysis. If you think it's bullshit, if you think it's stupid, you can just leave. It's no big deal. You don't have to put in your email address or any shit like that. You can just click the link and then you're instantly in there. So I will see you in my free Telegram channel, and I will see you guys for the next trading week. Cheers and happy trading, my friends. Bye.